Hey everybody, I just recently got this quad here. It cost me approximately cost me $250. I went and picked it up mainly for the reasons that the tires are in great shape. They still have the nipples here. They got great thread. They're all new. Has good oil on there. Had only this thing that's off, and it's pretty dirty. Needs to be cleaned out. The headlight was a little loose. Obviously, it doesn't start. Has no battery on there, but the seat is complete. It's a working order. So I'm going to see what it has, and hopefully I can get this thing running here real soon. So I did check. Oil looks good, and I'll be walking you through all that stuff here shortly. So let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm going to try to see if it starts. I know it has fuel in the carburetor. It has spark. Has battery power. I don't know if it has compression. So I'll have to check that next. I'm just going to check real quick. Just see if it starts or not, and then I'll continue from there on. Alright, I'm going to press throttle. Looks like I'm not getting anything, so I'm not going to keep doing that because obviously it's not starting, something's wrong. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the idle screw, see if that does anything for me. Alright. Alright, there it is. We'll see if that changes anything. I'll give it a couple tries. See what that does. All over again. Maybe the jets are clogged or something, so I'll have to replace this carburetor. So that'll be the next step. Alright, so I'm working on removing the carburetor right now. There's hardly any room here to work with to remove these 10mm bolts. It's kind of a pain to be working on this. I prefer have everything lifted, but I only have one lift and I already have a bike in there. So for now, this will have to do. I do need some better tools, but this is what I got for now. It's kind of slow and painful, but we'll eventually get done. One bolt is off. Now I gotta remove the other side. There's no like manuals for these, so you just gotta kind of learn by experience, I guess. Alright, so at least it did have everything installed there correctly. It's a little wet, so I'm not sure if it's kind of oily to me, like a little oily residue. I'm hoping they didn't mix the fuel. It only takes unleaded, so some people think it might take like 2-stroke oil, which is not the case. I have to check the fuel to find that out. Put all my parts in baggies, so I tend to forget where I put them, and I'll think I remember, but then I don't. So that off. Now I'm removing the throttle. Super tight in there. I'll have to need some pliers, and then have to remove the air filter as well. So what I just did right now, I went to the other side and unscrewed the screw for the bowl to see if there was fuel getting to the carburetor. And then, as you can tell, I did start leaking down here a little bit. So I do have fuel in that carburetor. Pretty sure it's pretty old, but I still want to see if I can get started with it. So I had to choke all the way up. I'm gonna try one more time. If it doesn't start, I'm gonna adjust the idle screw. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna spray something. Now that I took the carburetor out, I'm gonna spray some star fluid to see if it starts, basically, because that will at least let me know whether it has a compression or whatnot. I could just check the compression, but if it starts, then I know I just need to replace the carburetor, or whether or not I have a different problem. So I give them like about 3 squirts, small that is. Then we'll see if it starts here or not. We got it on, brakes on, that is on. Give it a little bit of a So it did start temporarily. It was kind of delayed though, so maybe needs valves adjusted. Probably. I'm gonna try one more time, see what it does, because it did start temporarily. All right, 3 squirts. Let's see what she does again. All right, so it did start. So now we know that it's always good to stay on the front of these, because sometimes they'll try to get off even though the brake's already on. It's kind of dangerous sometimes. All right, so now we know it does start. So now let's just replace the carburetor, and I think that's going to work. So I think it's just a carb issue, battery issue, and some smaller details we're going to have to fix, like this broken tab that supports the fuel tank, and other little details that we'll talk about later. Alrighty, so let's give it a test, see what it does. So right now I had to replace the carburetor and I plugged in the holes. Looks like the fuel is circulating well. Alright, button's there. Fire's on. I think the choke is off, so I'm going to put the choke on, just see what it does with the choke on. And let's test it. Well, that's a good sign. So it did start. So now we're going to put the choke all the way down and press it again. So now, since it's not starting with the choke down, I'm going to adjust the idle screw, see if that'll do the trick. I'm going to be pushing this throttle screw in. That should give it a little bit more fuel. I give it about one turn. Let's see what it does right there. Let's give it a choke. Choke, see what it does. Nothing, let's give it all the way choke. I'll put it all the way down. Try it now. Could be too much. Vamos. Si quieres te subo. Te vas a caer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my screws on both sides first, and feed this piece in, slide in it into the screws. Then I'm going to put on the carburetor at the end. So I just have both screws already on there. So now I'm going to put the other piece. I put these pieces on there, so I'm going to do that. Now the piece is now on there with the O-ring facing the neck side. Alright, now I'm going to put the carburetor on. Now these both bolts are now tight. We got the thing in. Now we got to put the hose, the fuel hose in. So I'm going to take this little nipple that's left over there, take it out, and then put the hose on there. Alright, so now the hose is put on there. I noticed it was getting pretty good fuel. Now I just put the air filter back on there, and the fuel's running well. So let's test it out, see if whether it works or not. So I drained all the fuel off my tank. It seemed like it was a little oily. As you can tell, it left like it was leaving like an oily residue after the touch. I'm not sure what was wrong with that fuel, but it didn't seem right. Usually for me, like gasoline evaporates really quickly, so it was leaving oil, kind of like a little bit of diesel or something. I'm not sure what it was, but I drained it all, and I still need to test it. I'll put in some fuel and test it out. But also, like, I found this fuel filter, and it was installed backwards. So basically, it needs to go from the tank and then the flow in this direction to the carburetor, but it was the opposite. So I put a new fuel filter and put it the right way. Hopefully that works. Now I'm just going to put some brand new fuel into this and see if that does the trick. Found a little mistake here. That's a flow on here, and is, I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty much backwards. This fuel filter, so I have to remove it and put a new one on there. I kind of tend to drain the fuel and put new fuel in here, because I think that's a problem. Probably drain the fuel because it's kind of oily, so I don't trust it, and I think it's just killing the spark. So I am draining all this fuel. So after I tried to run it and it would start intermittently, I noticed that the spark was intermittent. So I did change the CI and the ignition coil, but it didn't really make a difference. So my only leftover was check the stator. This one I already removed all the mounting bolts on these. So I tested it, and this was this pickup coil was up to spec. However, I did notice that the yellow and white wire here were actually having contact with the ground, which they are not supposed to. That's what charges the battery. So I'm assuming this wasn't charging the battery at all. So I had to use one, and I'm gonna replace it and see if that works, as well as adjust the pickup coil gap here, right there. So I'm gonna adjust that and see if that makes a difference, and I'm gonna run it up. So I just finished installing the new it's a U stator, but it checked out. I did all the checks on it with ohms and whatnot, and it appears to check out. So now we're gonna see if this is giving us a constant spark and not intermittent spark, because the other one used to give me like a little bit of a spark for maybe the first time that I pressed the start button. It would run about 5 seconds, and then after that it would die off, and then intermittently would turn on, back on, and so on. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to see if I'm getting a constant spark. All right, so we're gonna come and test this out, see if it will start. We replace the stator, and I still need to plug all this stuff in a second. All right, at this point I already I installed the new stator on there. I have the spark plug is back in place. Let's try it out, see if it will turn on. Everything checks out. And then just a choke here. Oh, I forgot to put this. That was silly of me. The kill switch, I hadn't adjusted the kill switch. Nothing. That's weird. Let me double check everything. Switch is on. Spark plug is plugged in. It's up here. It's on. Ring. Here. Nothing. check again. I'm gonna check the spark one more time. Okay, so at this point in time, I have replaced the stator. I have replaced, I put a new battery on there, replaced the carburetor and fuel lines, and it seems that I've been getting a constant spark. The thing I have kind of not tuned was still the carburetor, so I need to tune that up a little bit to get the proper idle speed. So I'm gonna see if it starts right now and see how it does do. So, all right, I got ignition on, switch, brakes are on, and let's start it up. If I let it go, it'll take off. That's not good. So I need to reduce that idle speed a little more. Let's see. This close it in like that. Let's try that out. Okay. Choke on. Slow way down. Okay. One more fuel. Uh-oh. Well, gotta double check the spark again. Alrighty, so at this point, all the work that I've done so far is because it wasn't charging the battery. It was giving me spark, but it wasn't charging the battery, so I had to replace that. Then I still was getting intermittent spark over here. I had already checked the coil, the stator. I checked, changed spark plugs, and it would start for a little bit, and then it would turn off. So it was always intermittent. So then I found out, I took off this. I was thinking it was going to be fine, but I ended up taking it off, and the kill switch right here, I guess with the vibration of the ATV, it wasn't making contact, and it would kill the quad. So I adjusted that internally. It's like just a metal plate that needs to be protruded a little more on the contact points, protruded on the contact points, and it was able to now make steady contact without having to buy a new one. So now I'm going to see if it'll run, if it'll start, and it'll run fine. I left the carburetor. I kind of adjusted it as it was running for a short period of time, so I think the carburetor is fine. But if I need to adjust it, I'll make some adjustments right now. All right, so we're going to do that. Turn the power on, and brake is on, and see if it'll start. That's this little kill switch for like parents. I want to test it out, see if it works. It'd be kind of cool if it did. Wow, it does work. That's awesome. All right, cool. I am going to button it all up, put all these wires back in place, put all the plastic covers here, and then get it all ready to go. All right, let's do it. Still some zip ties here. Knock it all out. So currently I have this problem right here. This tank has a little bracket right there, and this is what holds the tank up, and it's kind of broken off, so I need to weld that piece to that. However, this is a fuel tank here. It has a little rubber grommet on the back here, but it is conductive, so I'm a little bit hesitant about welding this, but what I'm thinking is, if I do run the current from this side, and it'll close right there, and we'll go to this. And just give it a few tack welds. Hopefully, that does the trick. And cell fuel does not ignite, but the fumes do. So gotta really be careful about this. All right, and if I were to take this bolt off, then this bracket wouldn't be held in place like it is, so I kind of need to give at least a tack weld before I loosen that up. But you just need two. It shouldn't be take that much. So I'm going to ground this off and then continue on. Gas tank up. I just had my mask. Where did I put it? Okay, here it is. Alright, so now this is good to go. This is stuff that you're not going to be able to see though, so not too worried how it looks, as long as it holds. So it is holding, and it's in pretty good condition right now. So I'm going to give it a doused paint just to prevent corrosion. And I think she'll be good now. I'll put the seat on and test it out. Alright, there she goes. So I think she's pretty much ready to roll. Now I'm going to give it a wash. It's full of mud everywhere. So there it is. Brakes on. So this is how it looks finally.